Well, thank you, Seth, for taking the time to sit down with me. I have a few questions for you specifically about daily writing. And the first question is just how in the world did you even come to this idea of this is something I want to do every day?
The beauty of having a daily blog is simple. Uh, as you and I are talking, it's Thursday. And tomorrow there's going to be a post on my blog. It won't be the best post I ever wrote. It won't be a perfect post. There will be a post because it's tomorrow. And you only need to make that decision once. And then once you make that decision, from then on, the only question is which post should I post tomorrow, not should I post tomorrow. And the idea between which and should takes an enormous amount of pressure off people. We all wake up in the morning saying, what should I eat today? No one wakes up saying, should I eat anything today or not? That's not an option. So the cognitive load was important to me. And the other thing is, since I was there at the birth of the internet, I think this is what the internet is best at, is giving human beings a chance to speak up with clarity and generosity on their own turf, not a victim of a social media platform, to find a voice and to connect and to lead people. And I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't do that, because I think it's important.
Do you feel like websites, personal blogs are the best way to have that platform, not on social media, or have you found another medium that you like more?
Well, social media is a better business model than everybody having their own platform. But the spirit of the web, the original idea from Ted Nelson in the 1960s was it's connected. And you don't need Mark Zuckerberg to be your landlord. You can have your own place. If you have your own place and then link to other people, that is what the internet is supposed to do. There's no doubt that social media is here to stay, but you don't have to be their product. You can own your own plot of land.
So tell me about like when you actually started officially being intentional with saying, I want to do this every day. Were you 12? Were you 20? When did it start?
So when I was a few years older than you, I began my journey as an entrepreneur. And in those days, it was not as socially acceptable as it is now. So there was a lot of pushback from my family. And I started a newsletter that I sent out every week or two by email, letting people know what I was doing. And it grew from 10 people to 100 people to 400 people or so. And I loved these updates. One of the challenges I had was people would write back. And so as it got bigger and bigger, the number of people writing back got out of hand. Right then, I met a guy named Joey Ito, who was on the board of a company called Movable Type, which became Six Apart. And I saw on his laptop a blog, and it was beautiful. It wasn't like Blogger, it was beautiful. And I said, can I have one of those? And I remember sitting outside that day. It was with him, Jacqueline Novogratz, Steve Breyer. It wasn't far from you. It was in Colorado. And I think that's the day I became a daily blogger.
Wow. That is such a formative time for you. And it obviously holds so many special memories as to why you even started writing in the first place. Have you gone back and read some of those writings and thought, my goodness?
Well, here's what happens. If you can, the earliest stuff before Typepad is lost, who knows where it is. Okay. But you can go back on my blog and read the very first posts. And the first 40 or 50 posts don't sound like me. It took me a little while to find the daily rhythm. And then there are a few that show up that sound like me now. Then I slip back and forth. Like there are blogs about what I had for breakfast and stuff. But pretty within 100 days, it was the blog it is now. And what I say to people is, you have no idea what your blog is going to become, but you have to write it to find out.
I love that. That is so powerful and definitely encourages. One of my favorite things about writing is that you don't think to write, but you write in order to think. And I can't even tell you how much clarity that brings you. And you're just like, okay, I've been thinking about this. Let me just write it out. And suddenly I have a better idea of, oh, that actually seems a little bit more shaky than I had originally thought. I want to rethink that, research this a little bit more.
Exactly. So I just want, a short commercial announcement for people who are watching this. It's hard to describe how generous Elizabeth's work is, showing up day after day when she doesn't know if anyone's going to read it. That is worth applauding. That is why I'm here talking with her. This is a habit that we should encourage. It doesn't matter if any given post is the greatest thing that was ever written. Some of them are really, really great. And you won't know until you read them. And so I just want to thank you for doing the writing.
Oh, thank you, Seth, for inspiring me to write. I really appreciate that. I am curious, how would you describe your blog when people ask you, oh, you write every day, what do you write about? Or is there a specific way that you kind of approach how you present that to people, especially since it doesn't find itself constrained to one topic? You might write about, like you said, what you had for breakfast.
Right. So some people think it's a marketing blog. That's only true if you believe that marketing is everything, which I do. I think marketing is anything that touches the market, and the market is all of us and how we interact with one another. So what I do on my blog is I notice things. So I never write about what I had for breakfast unless I have a point to make that's a metaphor. And the good posts that I do, the best ones, are ones where I don't fill in the blank, right? My job is to go dun 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 dun, dun. It is not to say dun dun, because if you say the last two beats, now it's yours. And so that's what I'm trying to do, which means that almost every day people are confused by my blog because everything else on the internet is just so on the nose, obviously hitting you over the head. And people go, what? Why are you writing about that? I don't have a dog. Yeah, it wasn't about dogs, right? And that, I don't get upset about that anymore, but it's pretty amazing how literal some people can be.
I hadn't thought too much about the opportunity to draw emphasis to something and lead the audience to more of a conclusion. I feel like I often end my writing with a very specific call to action or phrase, and that idea of leaving it open-ended for the reader to come to that conclusion is very enticing to me. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
How long officially have you been writing? I know we're in the double-digit years now, but I want to know the official scorekeeping.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I mean, I remember when I stopped eating dairy, but I don't remember the date when the streak began. My, WordPress now says I'm up to almost 9,000, but some were 2 a day, 3 a day. There was a time when I was doing 4 a day. So I have no idea.
Many years, over 11 years, right?
Oh, probably close to 20. Yeah.
20. That is so awesome, Seth. Never change. And then as I encourage people to write, a lot of the questions they ask me is, what is some advice you have as I start daily writing? And this is a question that you have received multiple times, and I wanted to make it a little bit more specific. So I'm a big believer that when people are aligned on the why, your friend Simon Sinek, start with why, great principle, that they're more motivated. So what is the motivating factor for you for showing up? I know it's a difference between, should I do it or which one is big, removing that mental lift, but what advice would you give for someone who's thinking about writing and they're trying to understand why they would do it?
I think that the more transactional you seek to be, the worse it's going to work. So people who say, I'm going to write a blog so I can move up in SEO, and I'm going to move up in SEO so I get more search results, and I'm going to get more search results so I get more clicks, and I'm going to get more clicks so I can make more money. Therefore, I'm writing a blog to make money. These people are usually disappointed. And most people who are listening to this spoke to someone today. And most of the time we speak to other people, we don't do it because we think we're going to get paid for it. We do it because we are in and of community. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to contribute. And I have no, Simon and I disagree a little bit about the getting your why to be precise. I think almost all of us have exactly the same why. Maybe there's 5 to choose from, but that's all. And I was on a call the other day with a company whose why was a 26-word long sentence that was clearly crafted by a committee of 42 people. They don't have that. No, their why is have a good day at work and get paid well. That's their why. And they're just not afraid. They're just afraid to say that. So in my case, my why is if I have something to share that someone's glad they read, that was worth it. We both came out ahead.
Thank you so much for your time today. I'm so, so glad we had this conversation. Anything you want to end with? Words of wisdom, last thoughts here?
There's no promises. Nothing is guaranteed. The question is, what can you do today that you'll be glad you did? And maybe the future you will thank you for it. And when I am 82, let's you and I make a date to celebrate your 20th year of writing. And you will thank yourself for when you started doing it. And the people who read you are so lucky.
It's a deal. Thank you so much, Seth. It was so, so good to meet you.
Thanks. Keep making a ruckus.
Will do.